The dark hills of my body have been invaded, mined. Hundreds of thousands of acres of lush trees, slashed, ripped up from my thick soil, blood roots, my roots, the roots of my people ripped up from my thick skin. My skin is thick from hundreds of years of the hills of my body being invaded, mined. The roots of my trees, of my people, are severed and bloody. Their blood, the blood of ma grand-mère. I can sense my roots so far from my surfaces that I can hardly articulate their source. It is in this that I feel the gut-knotting urgency to do the work of rediscovery and decolonization as I start to recognize myself in me. Ma grand-mère Azul, silent seamstress surviving bloody wounds, boiling orange peels and smashed tomatoes, she secured a better life for her son, and for over 40 years kept the secret of his conception. Cane candies and sweet whispers, Mon amour, je t'aime mon chéri. In the future she knows things will be better. She clasps her cross to her chest in praise, let him be safe. Papa gave up everything when he came to be an American. Assimilate to survive or die. He gave me a chance, but interracial love and mixed baby in the early 90s was still dangerous. After the first pregnancy, brownness meant that her baby could never be. What were they thinking bringing a biracial child into this world? Brown baby, assimilate or die. Please, God, make her light. Teach her English and French only. Let her survive. Ashamed and embarrassed of his past, he kept his longings, love, and language locked up under his tongue. I never learned about the revolution, the resistance, the resilience of my blood. I, too, seem to have forgotten. Amnesiac rips run through our collective tapestry. Jagged rips that run deep as canyons separate us from our stories in thin crimson strings of struggle, resistance, and survival. I spin transparent silk scarves of invisible memories that can't be remembered. I have the sticky nostalgic residue of a past I have never known on my fingers. It's like the smell on my tongue that I know I've tasted before, like the space between my lips that I know I've felt before, but nothing's there. Small phantom bugs crawl across my forehead to scratch the back of my skull, and my vision blurs as I try to catch an intelligible glimpse of what's real. I can't remember because I'm not supposed to. Colonization has severed my history from me, has severed me from me. You see, I'm only what has made me, my history, the bloodlines of pain, trauma, resistance, survival, and hope that run through me. The stories I want to hear, the stories I want to tell, dangle just above interpretation, floating in the spaces around my heart. And it is this profound loss that Avery Gordon implores I start with. To be honest, I'm just now coming to realize how much I need to stay here for a while, to feel it, to fall apart a million times again. I want to scream, puke, shake, cry, no, weep until my body fails me and I'm brought to my knees. I want to laugh and scream and dance until I remember, until my body remembers where I come from, who I am, how to make revolution. And yet I am reminded once again that what I am missing the most lays burrowed just below my skin, tucked within rose petal folds, in the musty archives of the BPP, within my own infrastructures of Black radical feeling. Reimagined fragments, shards of glass. I can feel small rips in the seams, chasms, breaks in time, and the only story I was ever told in the present moment, and the only ways I have hoped for the future. When I hear stories of resistance, of people who look like me resisting, of my people resisting, I feel it. My blood separates. The nuanced mixing of genes and histories means varying densities. I'm weighed down, weighed away, constantly pulled at all sides by the real pain of the present, by the reality of what I don't have, of what I long for. Safety from violence and sexual assault, liberation of all, Creole, community, mutual accountability, recuperation of history, collective story-making, preservation of families, a better future for my children, racial and economic justice, alternative ways of dealing with conflict, prison abolition, depathologization, decolonization, healing, healing, healing. I want to be well, whole, wholly well and healed, and I have a responsibility to self and to history to be just this. We all must heal the damage of our collective undoing, our collective falling apart, our collective pain. I must turn these wants, these longings into vital needs, demand to find glimpses in the present, glean moments from the past, and make the future we need now. I dream of a big-breasted brown mama holding me. I grasp her charcoal hair and bring it to my face. Her oils seep into the pores of my lips, and I smell the orange peels on her sweet breath. She rocks me, and I nestle into the rugged ravines of her arms. She collects the waves of my bloody tears in her mouth as she thanks God. Thank God she has let me come home to her and me. Her dark eyes tell me she is healing me. She plants seeds in my soul to grow back the lush trees that shade my heart, and hers is pulsating with the blood of my children. Violation, exploitation, rape. I can hear the faint battling of all our pain in the heaving of her chest, and I feel our struggle, our resistance in all her veins. I dream of a big-breasted brown mama holding me. My body obeys the compa rhythms of her steady time. She makes me move. With her, I can be soft and tender and strong and speak in tongues, whispering tongues that crack the barriers of silence, whispering tongues that scream, "Remember me." She brings me into her body's warmth, and I search her familiar folds. I make love to her with the coated memories on my skin. We make love with the coated memories on our skin. She collects the waves of my bloody tears in her mouth as she thanks God. She has let me come home to her.